Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What is up, guys? Hunter Klein here, bringing you this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. Y'all know the deal. How are things going? I can't complain. All right, we're entering a new phase, a new chapter, and tomorrow is the last stand of my 6-year stint in education. All right, I have my master's defense. I'm excited. I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Should I be anxious? Should I be relaxed? How easy is it going to be? Right now, I'm feeling as if I'm more than prepared, that my performance is going to be better than average, and I'm going above and beyond. But it's just so hard to tell, especially because the stigma, the general feeling around dissertation and thesis defenses is that it's extremely stressful, extremely difficult. Now, I'm not sure if I'm in that boat. I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm passionate about the subject that I'm speaking on. So, yeah, I feel good about it. I don't really feel that nervous or anxious, which makes me second guess. I'm asking myself, should I be more nervous? Should I be staring at my slides? Overall, the process of graduate school, I think, the difficulty is way over exaggerated. I think if you're considering getting a master's, especially a master's, but if you're considering getting any form of higher education at the graduate school level, master's or PhD, I would not use the assumed difficulty of this process to make your decision. Because to be quite honest with you, I find people at the graduate level overanalyze and overcomplicate how this process of graduate school goes. This is a roundabout way of me saying that getting a master's is fucking easy, guys. It's fucking easy. If you're working on a subject that you're passionate about, if you're not lazy, if you're not an insane procrastinator, it's such an easy process. All right. And I feel comfortable saying this because I entered a field that I wasn't even familiar in. I mean, yeah, I worked out in college, but my undergraduate degree is in biology. And 1 year into a master's program, or 1 year into my PhD program, I decided to switch to an exercise and nutritionals master's. With 1 year to make it happen, I put together my research thesis, and now I have my defense. I've been in it for a year. Generally, people get 2. Now, am I inclined in education more than other people? It's possible, but I don't think that has anything to do here. I think that the simple fact of the matter is that these these higher education steps you need to take, systems you get into, master's, PhD programs, are fairly easy if you just put in the effort and time. All right, I had so much free time during my master's. As much as I was stressed out, and as much as the weird, odd working hours, making slides, making presentations at 8 p.m., as much as that frustrated me, and as much as that's one of the main factors of why I'm getting out of the education system, I had so much free time. All right, so much free time, and simply because the process is really not all that difficult, and what these programs ask you is not really all that demanding. Excuse me. So, if you're thinking about it, jump into it. Absolutely. I know a lot of my peers, a lot of people I've talked to, finish that undergrad degree, question whether or not they should go into a master's. It's so easy, guys. It's so easy. Now, am I going to continue on to a PhD? Not right now. Again, one of my major reasons for initially committing to a PhD program, initially applying to the biology PhD program at ASU, which I have, and it sounds like I'm going to be accepted. Will I actually accept that offer? I'm not sure, probably not. But one of the initial reasons I applied for that PhD program is because I loved the free time, the freedom I had to work, right? The odd hours that these education systems require is somewhat freeing, even though sometimes you're working at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. Being able to go to the gym every day at 1 p.m. and not really stress it was pretty beautiful. And I was able to do that just because the system was not too demanding. So if you're thinking about it, jump in, explore. I might get a PhD later on, but I don't want to jump in mindlessly just because I like to work out at 1 p.m. I came to the conclusion that while I could easily complete a PhD program, let's take some time off of school. Let's figure out what we're actually interested in. What topic do we actually want to study at the level of a PhD? Because that stuff's grueling, man. And to be quite honest with you guys, I'm sick and tired of research and data and all this writing and I want to get out in the world, get my hands dirty. Now, while we're on the topic of fitness, okay, it is interesting for me to be able to say, or the feelings that boiled to the surface this week, is that as passionate as I am about fitness and health, as much time as I've spent in this sphere of exercise and nutritional sciences, as motivated as I am to increase, my health in my physique, I still get heavily disheartened every now and then. It's very strange. It's very strange. I haven't skipped a lift in about 2 years, and I still feel, and here's the disheartening part, the overwhelming part, I still feel that I have so much more to go. And the real bane of this, the real root of this, is when you get on Instagram. Right? You get on Instagram and you see this huge pool of Instagram fitness influencers, and they are just cartoonishly shredded. And I look at these guys and it's like, Jesus Christ, you make me look like a high school cross country athlete. You make me look like a high school cross country athlete, but I have been busting my ass to the max capacity of my human being for the last 2 years. When you see something like that, it's like, holy hell, how much farther do I have to go? Now, luckily, I love the process. Okay, I am excited as hell for my workout tomorrow. Shortly after my daily workouts, I am looking forward to the next workout. So it's not a problem, right? It's not like I see these guys on Instagram and go, damn, maybe I should stop. Never once, right? I love the process. Even, removing any of the physique benefits that we get, any of the growth that we see physically, the process of working out is just good for my mental health, and I enjoy that aspect of it. But goddamn, is the journey of fitness a very, very tall mountain, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. First things first, fitness has a very unique beauty to me because input equals output. Input equals output. There's not a lot of places in life. There's not a lot of endeavors in life in which if you put in the work, you are 100% guaranteed to see results. And those results are proportional to the amount of work you put in. The science is there. We know how the body builds muscle. We know how calorie surplus affects weight gain. If you want to gain muscle mass, you absolutely can if you put in the work and do the research. Now, let's compare that to something like the podcast. Right? There's no guarantee that in 10, 15 years that this pays off in any way. Right? I'm putting thousands of hours into this project. There's no guarantee that it ends in, a fruitful future. And that's okay. I love the process, but I'm trying to draw a clear distinction here between fitness and a lot of other endeavors in life. And that is input equals output, and it's very rewarding. And the second thing about it that makes it so beautiful is it is a long journey, right? If you get invested in this, you have a long way to go before you reach the top. It's very hard to reach the peak. It's very hard to reach the pinnacle. And that makes, the climb, the journey that we talk about so extended, and, you really get it's free content, right? It's free entertainment. That battle, that journey, that climb, where the real joy is in a lot of life's endeavors, lasts forever. And I think that's what's beautiful about it. And as much as I've worked on my fitness the last 2 years, as much as I've hyper focused on nutrition, as much as I've created eating patterns that are borderline disorders, there's still so much I need to do. But overall, it's such a grind. It's incredible to me if you really think about it. How much work you put in fitness and working out for such incremental gains, such small gains. You work your ass off for a week straight in that gym at max capacity, going till your muscles fail every day, or 4 out of the 7 days, 5 out of the 7 days. Walk out of there dead. Walk out of that gym just absolutely drained. And for what? Each day. The smallest increase in muscle size. Minute changes in strength. It's incredible how much hard work, the level at which you have to work consistently just to see the smallest results. It's so nuts. And this can even be, exemplified in the last 2 years for me. Like, I have perfected my workouts. Rest times optimized. I'm always on the clock. Nutrition, absolutely getting every ounce of protein I need. Supplementation with all the right supplements. And I've grown, but not as much as I would like, right? I've gotten bigger, but it's not strikingly obvious. Again, you have to put in so much work for very incremental results, which makes it a very disheartening endeavor, but also makes it a very beautiful, long, and drawn-out journey. Free entertainment is the way I look at it, family. So news this week, guys. Very interesting news story that many of you probably realized we were going to talk about. And there's no way we can pass it up because it's absolutely huge. And this is Monkey Mind Control by Neuralink and Elon Musk. Now, this is huge, and I think there's a lot to unpack here. Okay, so as a little disclaimer, as a little overview, a 9-year-old monkey named Pager, I like that name a lot actually, was used by Neuralink. They implanted a chip in his brain and allowed him to play Pong with his brain. Okay, allowed him to play Pong with his brain. And I'm going to pull this up real quick for people on video because I think it's actually fairly valuable. We're going to watch this video real quick. Hopefully I don't get DMCA'd. We'll see though.
9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in.
So it's a 9-year-old monkey, guys.
6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw.
So what they're doing here first, okay. So the first step of this video, if you guys are only watching or listening on audio, it says monkey is placed in a room in front of a screen and he's given a controller. All the meanwhile, there are electrodes in this monkey's brain. So there's nothing too amazing about this first step here, right? Monkey walks up to a screen, takes his controller, and starts moving the cursor, if you will, towards the orange box, right? Why is the monkey moving the cursor towards the orange box? Because when he succeeds, he gets a little banana smoothie, I think. Some kind of banana treat. Nothing too crazy here. Any monkey to do this is very simple. Now, what's interesting is that during this process, the entire reason for this non-impressive feat is that they're actually measuring his brain activity. All right. The human brain, the monkey brain, is a computer. Easily put. The monkey brain, the human brain, is a computer. All right. And there are certain cues for certain movements. Right. And when this monkey moves his cursor up, his brain sends a certain signal. When this monkey moves his cursor to the right, his brain uses a different signal. Now, by having this electrode in the brain and watching this monkey do this activity, they can map out what the brain does when the monkey wants to move an object a certain direction. Okay, so let's pull this back up. Now, as we go through, they have a phone app for this thing, guys. It's absolutely insane. But what's nuts here? What's nuts here is that after a little bit of actually measuring these brain activities, this guy straight up starts playing Pong. Starts playing Pong with his mind. And he's actually a badass. All right.
We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink.
And he's actually kind of cracked at this game, I'm not going to lie. And it's incredible. Now, there's one interesting thing about this research that I feel is worth talking about, and that is the way that it's portrayed to the public. All right, what is the value? What do they know? What is Neuralink saying that the reason for this research is? Okay, and what you'll find is that the scope of the research, the point of the research, is constantly being aimed at humans with disabilities. Okay, let's actually play this and see what their statement is.
And he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain.
And this monkey
Great
is
game,
playing Pong
Pager.
with his mind.
And what
And they
better
reward him
reward
with a
for a monkey
banana.
than a banana? We still have challenges spanning many fields of engineering. So if you're good at solving hard problems and want to change people's
Whatever. Okay. I'll say it for you. So in this video, they claim that the point, I don't want to say claim, but they do state that the main focus right now for this technology is to be applied with people with disabilities. People that are paralyzed and immobile. Allowing them to control computers, objects, things with their brain would give them abilities that they have been stripped of due to unfortunate circumstances such as paralysis and any other detrimental condition that would allow a human not to move. Now, this is incredible, and I'm absolutely sure this technology will roll out first for people with disabilities. But this is a very, very common strategy in research, guys. Okay? Now, the reason I say this is because there's a lot of money in medical sciences, biomedical sciences. Even in my field, even in strength and conditioning, even in exercise and nutrition, we find a lot that if we can turn the scope, if we can show people that our research helps humans at a medical level, at a biomedical level, at a level of human health, it will get a lot more money. My point here in saying this is that Neuralink's reason, or one of the major reasons, I am almost positive for them pointing the direction of this research into biomedical, targeted at improving the lives of humans with disabilities, is because the huge backing you get from the public, the huge increased amount of funding compared to, yeah, we want to give humans mind controlling capabilities. That's awesome, but it's not immediately needed, right? You can understand how building a mind control technology for humans, investors would be like, yeah, that's cool, but we have a lot bigger issues. By changing the scope of that research, by really, really hammering the fact that this is for humans that are disabled and that we're going to improve human lives instantly, you immediately get the attention of hundreds of investors that previously put your technology on the back burner because it was just a novelty, right? It was just an addition, a cool little feat for humans. Now, again, this will 100% roll out first in the field of biomedical sciences. Fantastic. We're going to improve the lives of humans. We're going to help people that have been screwed by the roll of life, right? Unfortunately. But think about what this means for the human species and the leap that we are about to take in the next 10, 20 years. If they can, in preliminary testing, get a monkey to play a game of Pong with his mind, we could easily, tomorrow, allow humans to turn on and off lights turn lights on and off with our mind. 100%. It's a much more simple brain function. It's not nearly as deep as actually moving a paddle incrementally up and down a screen. It's literally just on and off. We could 100% next week have a monkey that walks into a room and turns on and off lights with his mind. Again, this is at the most simple level. And this research is in preliminary stages. You can imagine how far this can go for humans. Controlling the world around them with their brain. This is nuts, guys. Now, again, I think that this really exemplifies how much is going to change in the future. I feel like a lot of humans, a lot of people don't realize how much things are going to change in the next 50 years. The human species is going to turn into some type of human-machine hybrid, undoubtedly, guys. You cannot tell me that humans will deny the ability to control their phone with their mind, control every appliance in their house with their brain, control their car with their brain. You bet your ass that Elon Musk is going to create some kind of crossover between Tesla and Neuralink, and that Tesla will be fully optimized for hands-off brain control. Again, this is far down the road. I want to really hammer this, guys, because it's important to realize how fast we're growing and how much we're changing. It's hard for us humans to realize this, right? Because we're very reactive. And a lot of us have a lot of shit going on in our lives. We got bills to pay. We got a girlfriend that's pissed at us. But the point here is that we're in a very fruitful time of humanity, where the idea of, you could call this telekinesis, right? Somewhat, not really. We're not actually controlling things with our mind, but in a way, or these controlling things with our mind, going to space, inhabiting other planets, is not fiction. It is the real world. And if the human species had a storyline and was in a movie, we would be damn near at the climax of this story. Or approaching it, that is. It's hard for me to ignore the big picture here. How huge this journey is, and how exciting of a time it is for humanity. Regardless of what you think about Elon Musk, regardless if you think he runs his business poorly, regardless if you don't like the way he carries himself on stage or the way he portrays himself to the public, this stuff is incredible. And I would want the richest man in the world to do, I would not want him to do a lot more differently or anything differently. I would not want him to divvy off this path as far as the improvements he is pushing for humanity. Sustainable energy, commercialized space travel, and incredible human in vitro upgrades. Is nuts. Is nuts. So you bet your ass I'm going to get this Neuralink chip in my brain as soon as I can, and I'm going to level up. Right? My goal here is to be the most optimized version of a human I can, and if that means turning into a bit of a cyborg, you bet your ass. You bet your ass. There's no way I'm turning this down. What else is going on in the world, guys? Joe Rogan got a new studio. About time. If you guys have watched Joe Rogan or been up to beat, when he did move to Austin, Texas, his studio was a little off-brand, I thought. You do you. Content's content, and honestly, I'm not even watching video on the Joe Rogan Experience anymore. But it's very, very awesome that he kind of rebranded and has a new studio that looks a little more like his style. And I pray for the day, family. I pray for the day where I can get out of these shitty rooms and get done with these shitty camera angles and this lighting and get a studio that I can personalize and really wrap around this brand. That is really my dream. A room that fits. I'm thinking about getting an artist to come paint the wall behind me in my new place, wherever that might be. Really personalizing the podcast, giving it a little brand, giving it a little more of a professional homey look. Walk into a room where it's just podcast time. That would help me. One interesting thing I'm going to do at my new place is make sure I separate where I work from where I chill. I've been reading a lot into the detrimental effects that come as a result of sleeping where you work, right? For my entire last 4 or 5 years, my work computer where I do research, read, record has always been 5 feet from my bed. And it seems as if that isn't the best for, your mental, right? Having the ability to walk into your bedroom and say, straight relaxation, no question about it, we're hanging out today. We're hanging out right now. I have that right now, and I think it's extremely valuable. And that's something I hope I can do with the amount of space I have in my new place. But who knows, guys? What else is going on? I saw an interesting fact that CEOs during the period of COVID have gotten increased pay on average by around $1 million, while the rest of the world has suffered, is what the article said. Now, I understand this. I understand the confusion, right? Everyone is losing their jobs, their homes. People's pays are getting short. Everyone's lives are sucking. Meanwhile, while the big guys at top get millions and millions more of dollars. And I think what this perspective might be missing is you have to understand from the CEO's perspective, how much more are they working? How close is their business from falling off? Right? How many more extra hours of work have they had to put in during this time, during these trying times of COVID, to make sure that their business stays afloat? Now, I don't mean to back up or root for the big man here. Okay, again, keep in mind I'm a poor graduate student at the moment until I get a new job. So I feel it. But again, I want to play devil's advocate here and say, maybe they do deserve an extra $1 million. Maybe they're putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours a week to make sure that their business doesn't collapse due to COVID, due to their customers being stripped. And again, I think people like to point out and be very narrow-minded with it, very surface level, and say, they're firing people while raising their pay. Again, I'm not an expert on this stuff, guys. I'm not going to act like I know everything about business dynamics and so on and so forth, but an interesting time for sure. An interesting time for sure. What else is going on, guys? Not much. Not much. Again, I go through the news every single day. I spend a good 30, 45 minutes scrolling through news stories today. And nothing really hits me. Nothing really hits me. I don't know if it's my limited interest, my unwillingness to broaden my interests, to work at actually finding value for me personally in the news articles I'm reading, but it's just not there. It's just not there. I look at political news stories and it doesn't get me going. All right. There isn't a lot other than, Neuralink, human advancement, these type of space endeavors, all this like really cool, exciting stuff of the future. It's very hard for me to find anything beyond that I find worthy of the podcast. Okay, which is very on brand. I guess the podcast is called Interplanetary Monkeys. It's solely built around the fact that we are going to travel off of Earth. But I'm expecting, at least in the next few years, that my interests do broaden out. That maybe I do get a little more interested in politics. Maybe that stuff becomes more relevant to me. So we'll see, man. We're growing up, we're changing, and the podcast is dynamic. All right, it's very plastic. And who knows? Who knows? If you guys want to call into the podcast, get involved, call in, leave a voicemail. Tell me what you're thinking, who you are, where you're from, what you want to talk about, things that I'm missing, ideas that I'm missing, perspectives that I'm missing. You can call at 602-892-4371. Again, that hotline is 602-892-4371. Call in, get involved. I will not answer the phone. You will be directed to a voicemail. Leave a message on that voicemail. I'll play it back on the podcast, and we will listen to it together. Family. React in real live. And yeah, like I've always said, sharing your perspectives helps me out a bunch. Right, I'm obviously limited in some aspects. There's some things I miss out on as a result of being Hunter and seeing the world through Hunter. Let's talk, family. Let's talk. That's it, guys. We're going to end it there. Not too much else going on. If you're feeling good, ride it out. It won't last forever. If you're in a shitty spot, if you're in a slump, battle through, family, because you'll make it out. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's finding the positives. And don't forget how much shit is going to change here in the next couple of years. Humans are in a exponential period of growth. Things are going to change. And it's very possible by the end of our life, we have some humans that are beginning to live forever. And I 100% believe that, guys. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I am still hopeful that I might be able to live past 200. Okay. Obviously, I'm very, very optimistic about the future of humanity. Maybe a little too optimistic. But we have some incredibly wealthy people that have their minds in the right spot when it comes to advancements and what is important for the human species right now. And I am very, very happy about it, and very, very proud of what these advanced little monkeys we have humans got going on right now. All right. So that's it for this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. This is Hunter Klein, and you'll hear from me next week. Peace, peace.